President Trump broke with Israel this morning, publicly contradicting Prime Minister Netanyahu's claim that there's no starvation in Gaza.
Prime Minister Netanyahu said there's no starvation in Gaza. Do you agree with that assessment?
I don't know. I mean, based on television, I would say not particularly, because those children look very hungry. But we're giving a lot of money and a lot of food, and other nations are now stepping up. The whole place is a mess. It'll get straightened out, but it's a mess. They have to get food and meantime, food and safety right now.
The president's comments coming as global outrage grows over the rising number of malnutrition deaths reported in the Gaza Strip. And over the weekend, Israel began daily 10-hour humanitarian pauses to allow aid into parts of the region. But some aid groups warn it's just simply not enough to stem the tide of hunger there. Joining us now, NBC News international reporter Matt Bodner and staff writer at The Atlantic, Michael Shearer. And Matt, Israel says it's allowing aid during those 10-hour daily pauses. Is this making a material difference on the ground? And could we see the U.S. try to offer more assistance here?
Thank you, Ariel. Well, I think the most direct answer to that question is no. Obviously, every little bit is needed. But we saw a statement from the IDF today saying that so far, since they started the tactical pauses, we've seen just 50 crates of aid airdropped from planes operated by the IDF, Jordan, and UAE into a relatively small sliver of the Gaza Strip, essentially limited to the coast. So the short answer is no. Much, much more is needed. That's what we're hearing from aid groups and doctors on the ground. Now, the interesting development today is that the United States, President Trump says that the United States is going to get involved in the relief effort. Let's take a listen to what he had to say about that.
We're going to set up food centers and where the people can walk in and no boundaries. We're not going to have fences and, you know, they can't, they see the food from 30 you would say, yards away, and they see the food. It's all there, but nobody's at it because they have fences set up that nobody can even get it. It's crazy what's going on over there.
There's still a lot of questions about what a U.S. involvement in this effort might actually end up looking like. President Trump did say that there would be coordination with European allies on this. But meanwhile, we are seeing that international groups are essentially lining up on the border, filling up trucks, ready to go in if they're allowed to go in. The World Food Program, for example, saying that it has enough aid ready to go to feed all of Gaza for 3 months. And just going back to your initial question, is what's getting in enough? We did hear today from the UN's on-the-ground relief coordinator, and he was saying of these airdrops and a few other efforts coordinated by the IDF that it's just a drop in the ocean, and again, much, much more is needed.
And the big question still remains, are there mechanisms to get that aid to the people who need it? Michael, what does President Trump's rejection of Netanyahu's claims about the starvation in Gaza tell you? And are you hearing anything from the administration about whether they will change their strategy when it comes to this conflict?
I think the most important thing is it tells you that the President of the United States watches television, and the reporting that's going on in Israel and the Gaza Strip does matter. You know, it cuts through the rhetoric here. You know, the UN Agency for Refugees has said 1 in 10 children there are malnourished. More than 1,000 people have been killed trying to get food over a couple months there. About 88% of the Gaza Strip is off limits to people, you know, under military orders of evacuation. I don't think we know yet where this is going to lead. There's divisions in Netanyahu's government. You know, some there, the hardliners are saying they see an opportunity to get Trump's support for another military offensive in Gaza. There have been many times in recent months where you have had U.S. authorities or Israeli authorities saying they're going to address this humanitarian crisis, and it's gotten worse, not better. But I do think there is a new level of pressure coming here. And this is really one of the first times we've seen President Trump address this as directly. And that clearly puts some pressure on the Israelis to solve this situation.